Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. The main purpose of this channel is to spread up-to-date crypto news. Please take the time to like and subscribe to my channel. Today I am sharing a video about strange Bitcoin buying signals everyone should see. After watching, see below in the description area how and where I am getting my signals for trading crypto. Enjoy the video.
Alright guys, let's talk about Bitcoin. And in this video, what I'm about to share with you might actually be some great news for Bitcoin investors and traders, especially for those of you who are looking to perhaps hold Bitcoin for the long term. So let me just explain to you what it is that I'm going to share with you. You see, in a previous video, what I said to you was that if Bitcoin takes out and closes below this support level, so here's our support level, and here's why. This is the February low, and this is the April low. And as you may remember, in a previous video, I said to you that if Bitcoin falls below this major and important support level, this February, April low, which is about 6,500 to 6,000 level, okay? If we fall below that level, that essentially would be terrible for Bitcoin because that is breaking market structure and could lead to significantly lower levels. In other words, significant sell-off in Bitcoin. Now, having said that, I want to show you in this video why there is an exception to that rule. Let me explain. You see, yesterday I was looking at the chart of Bitcoin from 2013 to 2014. And here's something important we can learn from Bitcoin's behavior from a few years ago. You see, back in 2013, which I'm sure many of you remember, in that year, especially in November, from about October to December of 2013, as you may recall, Bitcoin did something very similar to what it did last year, which is it went up nearly 1,000%. Bitcoin skyrocketed from about $150 in October, November of 2013, and it went up all the way to just above $1,100. So again, about 1,000% move. Now, you'll notice what happened next is very similar to what happened in December of last year in 2017. You see, in December of 2013, Bitcoin had a very sudden drop or crash, you want to call it that, then a rally, and then another drop. Okay? And it continued to do this until it finally made this bottom in December of that year, okay, around about the 400 level mark, okay, and then it staged a very strong rally. Now, I want to just mark that level there for you. Let me just, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a line and I'm going to place a horizontal line right about that bottom there, okay. All right, so there's our low from December of 2013. And then after that rally, which failed, okay, notice it came back. Now, it did have an intermediate drop below the level, and then it went up again. But notice what happened next. In February of 2014, it came back and retested that level. There it is. And notice it held that level, all right? So in other words, about a few years ago, Bitcoin made a low or a bottom back in December of 2013, and then it retested that level in February of 2014, forming a sort of double bottom pattern. Now look what happened next. About a few months later, in April of that year, look what it did. It broke below that significant level. That's, in other words, it's breaking market structure here. But notice what happened next. It quickly recovered and went back above it again. Now, is that significant? Yes. And I'm going to show you why it's significant. You see, guys, in technical analysis or chart analysis, that is what's called a false breakout. And a false breakout is one of the most important and most significant chart patterns you'll ever see in the markets. And they happen more often than you might think. Remember, guys, a false breakout of a support level is by far one of the most important and most powerful buy signals you'll find in chart analysis. In fact, let me show you exactly what happened after that false breakout. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened next. So just to put it into context, there's our 2013 low, the 2014 low, draw a line across it, okay, like so. And look what happened here. You see, there it is. That's the false breakout. And essentially, the market here is, what we're seeing here is a break of market structure. Now, it is true that breaking market structure is a terrible thing for that market because essentially you're breaking key support levels, which leads to significant sell-offs. However, there is an exception to that rule. The exception to that rule is when you see a false breakout. And what you see here is a pure and perfect example of a false breakout. Because what is happening here, and actually, by the way, guys, a lot of this is happening due to algorithmic and bot activity. And guys, it is important for you to remember that a lot of market activity today is not done necessarily by actual investors and traders, by human beings, but they're done by algorithms and bots designed and created by institutions and big market players. And I personally think this is a pure example of it. Because what these algorithms and these bots do, they deliberately push the price down below this key support level. And that is done why? It's done to manipulate a lot of the traders out there. In fact, most textbooks, the classic textbook on chart analysis says to you that that's actually a sell signal. And these institutions have read the same textbooks that you've probably read. So they know that's what you're thinking, that when the price falls below the key support level or breaking market structure, they know that what you're probably thinking is, okay, you know what, that is a sell signal. And that of course drives a lot of people to start shorting that market. All right. Unfortunately, what happens next is, look what happens next. The price quickly recovers and goes back above the key support level. That, guys, is a very powerful buy signal. A false breakout, which is exactly what that is. This is how you know it's a false breakout. When price falls below the key support level, right there, and then quickly recovers and goes back above it. All right. That is how you know it's a false breakout. That is how you know it's a buy signal, because you're back above the support level. And look what happened immediately afterwards. Well, immediately afterwards, we had a rally, a pullback, and then a continuation of that rally. So what does that mean now? It means this. It means that if you take a look at Bitcoin chart right now, let's draw a line across the bottom here. And here we go. We're going to draw a line across that significant low. That is the February, April low, which is about the 6,500 to 6,000 level there. What it means is this. If Bitcoin were to drop below that February, April low, okay, yes, it is breaking market structure, and yes, it is bad. But remember, breaking of market structure is only bad if you stay below that level in order for that signal to be confirmed. Because if you quickly see a recovery, and if price quickly bounces back above it again, in other words, if price breaks the February, April lows about 6,500, and if we quickly go back above it again, like we just saw back on Bitcoin a few years ago, that is actually a false breakout. What that shows to you is that a lot of these bots and algorithms have deliberately pushed price below the February, April lows, and that counts as a buy signal. All right. This is done deliberately, guys. It's done deliberately to manipulate investors and traders on Bitcoin. And that's often when you see these news headlines out there saying, oh, you know what? Bitcoin has just broken below the February, April lows. So be careful of that. And remember, guys, not every breakout has to be a false breakout. You need to wait and actually see if it is a false breakout or not. So all I'm saying is keep an eye on that if it happens. If it does happen, if you see a false breakout, if you see Bitcoin falling below the February, April lows and then quickly recovering, going back above it again, that actually initiates a buy signal, and you might actually see a rally forming, a rally that actually could lead to retesting the previous highs on Bitcoin.